Oh, and one more thing I want to talk about as a teacher. Why do y'all's kids feel like they don't have to respect the rules and regulations of the classroom? I made a seating chart. I make seating charts every time my kids take a major test. So they had a seating chart at the beginning of the year. They just took their summative exam. I made a new seating chart based off their data. I'm a teacher. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Why do your kids feel like they can come into my classroom and sit wherever they want to? Now, I've had years in prior, like last year, where I had students who would come in and do their work, and then the days they knew were like a little bit more laid back, lax days, they like, hey, Ms. Blackwell, can I go sit and, beside this friend? Absolutely. Because this is the thing. Those kids did their work, right? They did their work. So I didn't mind my kids last year that asked if they could go sit with a friend. That was fine because a lot of the times they did their work. I didn't have any issue with them talking, none of that. This year, I have kids that just come in, sit where they want, and not only are they sitting where they want, they're sitting where they want, and they're running their mouths. They're not doing their work, and they're talking, disrupting the whole class. I'm tired. Why y'all not teaching these kids any level of respect? I'm tired. I've never been this tired in my life as a teacher. I normally get tired around January, February. That's normally when I'm like, okay, I'm done. I've been tired since September, and I am ready to walk away from education. I'm so glad that I finished my master's in clinical mental health counseling next year because I'm ready to be done. I am actively looking for a way out of education because when I say education is in the trenches, along with everything else going on in the world right now, I don't have the mental capacity to deal with y'all's bad kids because y'all don't want to be a parent and y'all don't want to give them any sort of discipline at home. I am done. I am exhausted.
One of the issues is the millennial parents don't discipline their kids because they got discipline. That's what I believe. I believe when we grew up, we used to get whoopings. And I don't think them little squeakies get whoopings no more. I think the parents feel bad because they mama used to give them that belt, right? And give them crazy punishments. So they a little lenient on their kid. But when you don't give discipline to a kid, what happens? He doesn't listen. He or she doesn't listen. He or she doesn't respect authority. If you best friends with your kids sometimes they don't respect authority, bro. It just happens. So I already know she on point. I've been in this scenario. I grew up in St. Louis. I seen how bad them kids is because I was the quiet kid in class. I used to just be quiet and just watch and observe the chaos. And it would be absolute chaos. So I already know. I used to feel bad for the teacher. They used to curse them out. They used to do all kind of stuff, man. So the kids over here talking, yeah, they gonna keep talking. They, can you please be quiet? And they're gonna be like, and then they gonna still keep talking. That's why I almost laugh because I already know, And the crazy thing is, you'll assign the seat. They probably gonna move their desk too to go over there or go over there. I already know.
I'm walking right out the door. I won't ever be back.
I've had this happen too. I've seen a teacher walk out before. And it's one of the saddest things. So if they're acting wild and completely insane, I feel bad for it. I ain't gonna lie, I do feel bad because I know they don't care. Them kids don't care, bro. They probably giggling about it. They laughing when a lady probably go home to her husband and, sad about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It can get crazy, man. I understand why the teachers feel that way. I understand. I completely get it. It makes you not want to do it no more. It just makes you like, this is insane. That's how it makes you feel. So I get it.
1,000 teachers quit in Arizona. I'm not surprised, okay? Because let me tell you, these kids are bad. I quit being a teacher, so I understand. But 1,000 in the last 4 days, 1,000 teachers? And I'm sure that's not in just Arizona because I've been all over. I've been on the teachers' side of TikTok. And let me tell you, back to back people are quitting because their mental health is not okay. And what's crazy is they took the funding to have support teachers this year. So in the county that my son is in, they fired 150 teachers. What do you think is going to happen when these teachers don't have no support? I literally went to my son's school the other day as a pop-in. She has 26 kids and no support teacher. I literally wanted to help her so bad because I'm just like, yo, what is happening? Why do y'all not think these teachers need support? I'm telling you, by 2027, our kids are going to be taught by robots because These teachers are dropping like flies.
I agree that AIs are gonna raise your kids because the way these kids moving, I'm telling you, man, they bad in my school. When I was a kid, they were bad. I'll never forget they used to harass our teachers, bully our teachers. They used to walk out in class. They used to tell them to shut up. So I can only imagine now that they have grown up and have kids of their own. I can only imagine. So I already know he's gonna quit, and the school board probably gonna replace them with AI robots. It's gonna be AI ChatGPT robots in the class teaching people.
Are quitting mid-year again at record numbers. Is one of the reasons why. A student who wasn't assigned to me or my classroom was let into my room by another adult, a teacher's aide, and repeatedly ignored my direction and instructions to leave. Eventually, she repeatedly called me a and threatened me with physical violence, which sent me into a panic attack. I called the office for support, and as soon as the dean of students showed up to my classroom, I left and I went to the stairwell to go cry and have a panic attack. Once I calmed down, which took my entire lunch, I was expected to go back and teach my classes because we had a sub shortage and nobody could cover my classes for the rest of the day. By the end of the day, the videos that the student took of me circulated amongst the student body, and I ended that day sitting at my desk feeling the most powerless and defeated that I've ever felt in my entire life. The student was not given a consequence that was fitting. She was sent home for the day. That was it. I received no apology, no restorative circle from the student or the adult who let them into my classroom, and the paraprofessional received no disciplinary actions. He stood in my classroom and allowed his student to speak to me in a degrading, violent, and disrespectful manner. After that class period was over, I had several students come up to me and say that they wanted to jump to my defense, but they were also afraid of that student and afraid of for their own safety. That's when I knew the profession I once loved was no longer the profession I needed or wanted, and I left a month later. And that story is not unique. Teachers aren't leaving because they don't care about the kids. They're leaving because the system no longer lets them teach kids. They're not allowed to teach self-management. They're not allowed to teach respect or accountability anymore. We are told to keep the peace, keep the bodies in the room. Some are even told to pass at 20%. Just get the kid the diploma. Pass them along so that the data looks good. But when we do that, we're not protecting the students. We're doing them a disservice because they are walking into a world that will hold them accountable. We could have taught them how to handle that with grace, empathy, and reflection. But instead, we're told to look the other way. Teachers quitting mid-year every single year is not an exodus. It's self-preservation. And deep down, it's heartbreak because they want to stay. The system is just making it so that staying is at the expense of yourself and your own family.
I believe it. And the fact that they talk about just, pass them regardless is crazy. That's crazy. And I can just tell she love her job, but it's too hard to tame bad students, bro. It's too hard. And it affects your morale. It affects your morale going to work and dealing with chaos every day. I completely get it, man, why they're quitting mid-year, leaving. I think the future of teaching is probably going to be AI. As AI takes everyone's job, I think AI will also become the teacher. And they're going to have just presentations in the class teaching, and students just have to sit there. And then the AI bot's going to be zooming and seeing who paying attention on their phone. And then when they look at their phone, they're going to dock the points because they got an all-seeing AI eye that look at the classroom. I don't know, something like that. That's what I think. Something crazy like that going to happen because the way AI moving, I can just see it happen. I just see it happening. And the crazy thing is, I want you to imagine, all right, you walk into a classroom, you teaching, and you getting cursed out, you getting disrespected, and the kids ain't listening to you. But it's your job. You have to pay bills. You got to make your money. But they're not. You can't tame them. They're untamable. They parents don't help you. The school board just keep them go, keep it going. Do your job. Eventually, the teacher's gonna get fed up and they're gonna leave. And teachers are very important because who else gonna teach the students unless you're gonna throw AI robots in there? And that's not. And there's people that have relationships with their teachers from 2nd and 3rd grade. So, I don't know the repercussions of kids being taught by AI and how that's going to affect the community and the world later. So I think school boards need to dial something down to help these teachers. That's my personal opinion. But appreciate y'all for watching this video. I got another banger right there. You gotta check that one next for sure.